Welcome back to the CompTIA A+ 22081 exam. Today we're going to talk about power issues. I'm your host, Anthony. Let's move along here. The personal computer requires a power source, which I'm hoping all of you are familiar with that. But the power supply unit is a small internal box and is also referred to as the PSU. We have a little diagram here of it. As you can see on the back, there's a vent going out with a little fan to regulate the heat, as well as a plug there, which you can plug into your, plug into the wall, or if you have a power slip surge protector, any of those types of things, as well as a little on-off switch where you can kill the power directly from, and a voltage changer, which we'll get into in a little bit here. So where is the power supply in the case? Well, if you're looking at your general typical ATX derivative style case, it's going to be in the top left hand corner here, as you can see, and it has cables that are fed out to the different areas of the computer, supplying power where necessary. So that kind of gets into what does a PSU do? Well, it takes electricity from the wall socket and transforms it into voltages needed to power the various parts of the PC. The PSU issues can create many different problems in a computer, such as instability or restarts due to dirty power lines, crashes, data loss, and corruption. For instance, if you have a dip in power or a spike in power, it's possible that the computer could just instantaneously restart due to the power source not able to convert power correctly, which can cause all sorts of problems for your end users. The PSU should never be taken apart. That is something you want to be very familiar with, and you probably will see that question on the test in some way, shape, or form. It is considered an FRU, which is a field replaceable unit. So you should never attempt to repair it, just replace it. Generally, if you're a field tech or something like that, you probably have a van with quite a few extra power sources waiting on hand, as well as RAM and hard drives. Those are all examples of FRUs. So the reason why we don't really repair these in the field is because they can still have an electrical charge, and these electrical charges that they hold can be quite deadly to a human being. So it's just safer and better to just replace the unit. And of course, it's cost effective, or we wouldn't consider doing that. We would ship the computer away or some nonsense like that. Luckily, the economics of replacing a PSU are fairly cost efficient. So again, here's some basic power issues. Basic operation procedures concerning power include, now this may seem a little rudimentary, but remember you're dealing with end users who are not familiar with computers generally. So consider that. So here we have to always verify that the power is being delivered to the PC. So is the PC plugged in? I'm not joking. It is not out of the realm of possibility that a user has tripped over a cord and just hasn't thought to look down and make sure that all the cords are still plugged in. I've had this issue with my grandmother plenty of times, and just remember that any generation that didn't really grow up with computers may not be familiar with this type of thing, or just people who, they see a problem with the computer and they say, I'm not touching it, it's not my job, and they're right, and that's what we're here for. Another thing is the AC outlet providing electricity? One would imagine that if the power were to go out, then maybe a generator would come online and, allow for some basic, electricity as far as lights and things and security and things like that go. That may not power the computer. So, always check to make sure that, the power is flowing through the building, as well as the AC outlet itself has not, shorted, which can be tested with numerous different things that we'll get into a lot later in this, tutorial here. So always make sure the power cord and the AC outlet have ground connectors. That's very important. That can cause lots of hazards if you're not properly grounded, including shorting equipment and possibly even a fire. Make sure the voltage switch on the PSU is set properly. So let's take a look here. You'll see a little thing right here that you can kind of flip back and forth here. If you take a little flathead screwdriver or pen or anything that's sturdy enough, you can kind of flick that between 115/110 or 220/230, depending on if you are in the US or over in Europe respectively. And that's pretty much all you need to know about power sources and power issues. I'll catch you in the next video.